guys, today we are making a cold Korean noodle salad called Bibim Naengmyeon, or it's also maybe called Chol Naengmyeon. Comment below and let me know exactly which one this is. Maybe it's a combination of the two, but it's one that I like to make because it uses up a lot of the veggies that are kind of just sitting around left over in my fridge. Okay, so first I'm gonna add an egg to mine. You don't have to if you want to keep it purely vegetarian, but I'm gonna boil off some egg. Get some water going, and I'm actually gonna be using that stovetop today. And then I'm gonna show you guys how I prepare the vegetables. Let's get our eggs first. Okay, I'm gonna do 2 eggs, but let me show you how I prepare the vegetables and then we'll do the sauce. So I'm just using a lot of the vegetables that I have lying around. You definitely can use whatever you have available. For this one, I like to have bean sprouts, carrots, cucumbers, and then radish. I have daikon here, and for most of them, I'm just gonna use my mandolin to thinly slice them. Of course, wash it first. This one is so small, so you gotta be extra careful. Sometimes when it gets to the tip and it's too hard to go through the mandolin, I just eat it. And obviously I'm making this for just me and Nate, so he doesn't really care if I bite into his carrot. Yeah, the thing about using up like old vegetables in your fridge is that sometimes they're kind of sad and hard to maneuver. I'm trying to be really mindful about like food waste and using up everything I have, so this is definitely a good way to do that. Cut off the old part. We're gonna use the rest of. For the cucumbers, since it's nice and crunchy, I can put it through a little easier. Yeah, and this looks so yummy. It'll be good as a garnish. I'm gonna make another pile here to mix in with the noodles. I don't know about you guys, but when I'm cooking, I end up eating a lot of what I'm prepping just because it's prepped and gotta do quality control, right? This is as far as I can go before I start cutting myself. And then we need to have our daikon. And of course with these, I can just pick it and eat it as I cook, which I'm gonna put it over here because I will be munching on them. Now back to the eggs real quick. I'm gonna do a 9-minute egg because it's not too hard boiled. It's still somewhat soft in the center. But before I boil off my eggs, but this is a tool that I tested recently from Amazon. It just like pokes the bottom of your egg and it makes the peeling process so much easier. So you just go boop, like that. And it just makes like a tiny little hole to let the air bubbles out. Sometimes I am afraid of like popping the shell, but 9 minutes. Going in. And since I'm notorious for cracking my eggshells when I put it into the pot, I'm just gonna slide it in with my spoon. So finally, our radish. I bought this with the intention of making like a beef stew, but then it got really hot this week, and look, now it's also kind of sad. Let's just clean this up. Usually I would salt this to make it a little less crunchy, but I think having an old one like this did the job for me, so I'm not going to salt or try to like pre-pickle it. But I will use my knife to cut it down because I don't think it'll go through the mandolin. Like I said, today, or this week, it's gonna be like 80, 85 degrees, and we live right next to the beach. It's been amazing. Like a hot day. Some days on a really hot day, like inland, it'll be super sunny and super warm, but it's foggy here, but still warm. So I feel like it's the perfect temperature all around. So having something like this that's easy to cook, it's healthy, it's refreshing, doesn't heat up your kitchen too much, I feel like it's the perfect meal on a warm, hot day. Radish is done. I'm gonna set all of my vegetables right here and we will deal with them later. Oh, I also have this Korean pear that needs to be eaten. So we're gonna add some of that too. I'm gonna use this for garnish and then I'm gonna eat these. Whenever you get a really sweet one, it's just so good. Okay. Now let's make the sauce, because the sauce is one of the most important parts of this whole meal. It kind of brings everything together. It's salty, spicy, sweet at the same time, kind of sour too. I'm gonna start by adding some ginger and garlic to a bowl. Okay, our eggs are done, so I'm gonna plunge it into an ice bath to stop the cooking. Now back to the sauce. I'm gonna grate some ginger. I showed you guys this tool in my cashew chicken video. If you guys like these types of recipes, go watch that video because I think you'll really like that recipe too. But I just wanna grate the ginger very finely. Just add it to my bowl. Get the ginger juice in there too. Got those in there. Now for the rest of the sauce, we need soy sauce. I like using honey, rice vinegar, and we're also gonna use regular vinegar because I like it kind of sour. Sesame oil. And the most important part of this sauce is the gochujang. So here's all of my ingredients. Like I said, the most important part, the gochujang. So depending on how spicy you want it, you can add 1 tablespoon or 2 tablespoons. We like it pretty spicy, right? Okay, Nate likes it really spicy anyways. And then we need 1 tablespoon soy sauce. I like a lot of sesame oil. I'll do a tablespoon, a little shy of a tablespoon. Here's a hack for you. If you don't like your honey sticking to your spoon, always put like an oil base, like sesame oil, whatever you just used, into the spoon first and then measure out your honey because it'll slide right out. Because this sauce is also kind of sweet, I'm doing 1 tablespoon of honey too. Look, look, look. Like magic. Obviously, if there's anything that's sticking afterwards, just scoop it out. And then we have our vinegar. Because white vinegar is super duper tangy, I'm gonna do like 2 teaspoons and then 2 teaspoons of rice vinegar for a good balance. If you want it extra spicy, just a little bit of gochugaru. I'm gonna do just a shake. Here's what it looks like, and mix, mix, mix. So this is our sauce base. Go ahead and give it a quick taste to see if you need to adjust it based on your liking. And then I'm gonna add some broth into it. I almost feel like it could use a little bit more sesame oil. I'm gonna do it. I love sesame oil. And because this is going on a noodle, we want enough to coat everything, but we wanted to make the sauce really concentrated and like a good base for the noodles. So now, after I've developed my sauce, I'm gonna add in some chicken broth. Basically, this is just to kind of stretch it out, to thin it out, and I'm just gonna add 2 tablespoons. Mix it until it's like a nice mixture like this. Beautiful. Now we cook our noodles. So let me talk to you about the noodles. This is called BIBIM NAENGMYEON. It comes with the broth. It's supposed to be made with this like icy broth here. I prefer BIBIM NAENGMYEON or this naengmyeon just because if you guys know bibimbap, like the mixture of like all the vegetables with the rice, this is like the noodle version of it. I made the sauce thinner than a typical bibimbap sauce, but that's just a preference thing. But I like it with noodles, and then we use like this chewy noodles that have buckwheat starch with wheat flour. And then it comes with a sauce packet too. You can follow the direction if you want it to be like the soupy broth type, but I like it with the spicy coating of the sauce, so I'm doing it this way. And it's really simple. You just cook it for 4 minutes, rinse out the starch, and it's done. I always get my Korean ingredients from H Mart, and this is what the noodles look like. It's super chewy, delicious. It's not like soba noodles. Soba noodles also have buckwheat in it, but this is just very chewy, and it's super satisfying to eat. I'm gonna boil some water. So once the water's boiling, go ahead and just drop in a nice bunch of the noodles and cook it for about 4 minutes. Once it's done, I'm just gonna drain it and rinse it with some cold water to get rid of any starch. Okay, so what I just did was rinse it with super cold water so that it rinses off any excess starch, but also to cool down our noodles since we're using it for a noodle salad. I'm gonna let it drain a little bit longer while I prep the rest of the noodle salad. So for the noodle salad component, I like to mix the noodles with some bean sprouts, just a handful. The daikon, our carrots, I'm gonna leave a little bit to garnish actually, but we're gonna mix it in there. And then I have 2 sets of cucumbers. Add that in as well. I'm leaving a little bit of carrots, cucumbers, and Korean pear to garnish. Just give it a shaky shake. If it's still a little wet, this looks good. So now, add it to my bowl. Pour in the sauce. I'm not gonna pour the whole thing in because I wanna add a little bit at the end just to like top it off. Then we mix, mix, mix. See, this way Every single bite, every vegetable is coated in that sauce, so you get lots and lots of flavor. I also saved some too, so we have a nice burst. Okay, so let me plate this. Because it's so spicy, this is mostly for me and Nate. So to dress it, I'm gonna put a little bit of lettuce. Definitely our Korean pear, a nice little stack right here. I like how it just kind of falls over. It's like perfectly imperfect. A little bit of the carrots for color. Some more of our cucumber strips. Just crisscross it against each other. You don't want it to like lay the same direction because then you lose the visual of each item. And then our eggs. Let me see how easy it is to crack. Still have to get under that skin. Yes. If you guys like making hard-boiled eggs, I'm telling you that pin thing. Oh, shoot. My egg was too big. It's like half not cooked. It's like a soft-boiled egg. Oh my gosh. Fail zong, fail zong. See, if we were doing a real video, not to say that this is not a real video, but if we were doing one of my like usual like multi-camera videos, this would have gotten scrapped because it would not have been good enough. But because we're just low-key making dinner, I'm gonna use it. And then it becomes like a soft-boiled egg, which is also just fine. I think also because my egg was extra large, the timing was off. I would have put it right on top of here, but hopefully this one's better. In the back of my head, I kind of knew that was gonna happen because it wasn't like completely submerged. Same thing with this one. Just gonna have you lie like this, not cut you. Green onions. A little bit of our sauce around the edges, just so you see that it's there. If you want to, you can add kimchi. I feel like there's a lot going on with my plate right now, so I'm gonna forego it. But one of the things I love to add on the eggs is furikake. More sesame seeds, and that is dinner. If you guys wanted to make this completely vegetarian, instead of the eggs, you can add just like toasted tofu or like fresh tofu in there, and that would be so delicious with the sauce. Okay, so let me know in the comments what you want to see me make for dinner next, and we'll give this a taste. Like I said, spicy, salty, sweet, all in one, and super refreshing.